Hello everybody, I am Fuzzy Face. Welcome back. Today we've got another round of Motorsport Manager on the go here today, back with our Audi team. We're currently in the 2022 season. Of course, we started in 2021. We skipped on a year, brought Audi into the game with the new regulations that were scheduled to be in 2021. Not really going to be happening in real life now, those regulations. We'll just see how things go. It's just announced that the season potentially in real life getting underway in July, so looking forward to that if it does get underway. But anyway, we're back with our Motorsport Manager game. Last time out we had a outstanding race in Dubai. Pierre Gasly got on the podium as second place. We managed to make a strategy work under the safety car that worked out for both of our drivers. We qualified so far down the grid. Gasly was 15th, Vettel was 19th. Gasly got up into second, of course. Vettel himself managed to get up to 7th place. Not too bad overall for him. He did have a really bad qualifying session, a really bad start, but through the strategy we did manage to make it work. But let's get into things here. We have had our new engine go into the car. It is a step forward. We are now the 6th best overall rated engine on the grid. If you can look there, we're a tiny step behind the Ferrari, but we're above the Ferrari customer teams of Alfa Romeo and Prema. So we're sort of in between. So our engine is like a couple of points different to the Ferrari engine. Meanwhile, we'll run down quickly what the other teams have been doing. Mercedes have introduced their Spec 2 engine. Not a massive upgrade, as you can see, they're still down there at the bottom, and then their customer teams just behind them. Ferrari have also introduced their Spec 2 engine, which wasn't a massive upgrade either, which has allowed us to catch them up a little bit. And then we have Renault as well, who have brought their Spec 2 engine in for this season, and that was a massive upgrade. As you can see, they jumped the Red Bull now as having the best engine. Haas as well, their customer team, have also bumped up as well, all the way to second. Haas have a really good engine in that car, but even with that engine, they're still 12th overall as having the best car on the grid. And as you can see ourselves, we slipped from 7th to 8th. I think it is Alfa Romeo that have jumped us, who have got the new engine from Ferrari and have also got a new gearbox. Otherwise, on the update fronts from the other cars, Red Bull have got another rear wing. They put a new rear wing in for the last race. They've built one for this. Williams as well have done the same. They had a new rear wing for race 2. They've got a new rear wing for this race. Ferrari have got the engine. McLaren have taken the Spec 2 engine from Mercedes and have also updated their brakes. Aston Martin have got the new engine from Mercedes and have updated their front wing. AlphaTauri have a new braking system. Renault, it's just the engine. Alfa Romeo have got a new gearbox plus the engine from Ferrari. Haas have got the new engine from Renault. Prema have got the new engine from Ferrari and have also developed a new rear wing. Although they're still only 9th best overall. That Prema car is 10th. AlphaTauri 11th. And Williams are just below us. So we're like... we're pretty much on a par with Williams, I would guess. Are we on a par with Williams if we look at where Williams are? They're quite a little bit further down the average than we are. We're actually doing pretty well this season considering the state of the car. As we can see, Mercedes, their car is a long way off of what? I'm guessing that's Renault who are at the top. No, it's Red Bull who are at the top. Then McLaren are a little bit higher than Mercedes. Then we come down to Audi. Then Ferrari are a little bit better than Mercedes. Then we've got Renault. Even with that really strong engine, they're way off the pace of what Red Bull have got as a car. But as we see, McLaren, with their updated brakes plus the engine from Mercedes, have actually jumped Ferrari in this list. I think they were below them in the list before. McLaren now have the 3rd best overall car. So it's going to be interesting what goes on here in Beijing in China. We've got a wet practice. Don't really like wet practice. I don't like wet qualifying, but it looks like it's going to be dry for qualifying. But we do have a wet race. We did have a wet race here in China last time out. We'll go over what happened last year in China once we get into qualifying and all that jazz. But we've got practice to go first. We're going to take an extra pair. We usually go, last season we were going 744, but since we do have the 3-stage qualifying this season, we just take an extra pair of super softs just in case we do get through Q1 and Q2. I don't think there's much chance of that happening again, but both guys not really happy with the car. But anyway, we'll get in and skip over practice like usual, and we'll be back in a second for qualifying. So practice is over. Lewis Hamilton quickest in practice. Lando Norris up there as well. We are a bit further down the order, but we can't take any of this to heart because it was raining throughout the whole of practice. we don't get a good reading on what's going to happen. Everyone was out on track at different times, at different periods of rainfall. It doesn't look like it's going to rain, at least not in the first qualifying session, but we don't really have much tyre data to go on because we've only done running on the intermediates during practice. So we do have to take the intermediate boost. We're pretty much there with the setups. We'll go with the super softs and we'll just jump straight into qualifying. We'll speed things up. We're going to get out, try and look for a gap, because I think that's what held up Vettel last time. We're going to try and find a gap. Is that a gap there forming? Are we right at the back of the garage? Is that why by the time we get out, we are right at the back of the garage? By the time we get out, we're usually stuck in traffic as we come out. Hopefully we can get out of Q1. I don't think over the first two races, although Gasly does have some traffic alongside him. I think that is an AlphaTauri. I don't know which AlphaTauri it is. We can't actually click on them at the moment. I don't think he's far enough in front to be able to find on this. It's Yuki Tsunoda out in front of him at the moment. Hopefully he's not going to hold him up too much, but as I was saying, I don't think over the first two races Vettel has got out of Q1. Gasly got out of Q1 during the last race. But anyway, as we go down it, last year pole position was Leclerc in the Ferrari here with a 1:34.3. Bottas is currently quickest in an Alfa Romeo after the first run, which is pretty surprising, with a 1:34.4. That's pretty surprising. We're currently 6th and 9th. Have we got cars out? We don't really have cars out of order down here. We have George Russell a long way off. We've got Ferraris outside the top 10. We've got Mercedes, both Mercedes outside the top 10 and on the verge of being eliminated. So a pretty interesting first go around on the first qualifying. There. Everything out of order. We've got Prema all the way up there. We've got the Renaults with the really strong new engine only in 4th and 8th. And this is quite a long, it's not quite a long track, so we've got a lot of traffic coming out at the moment. We're going to wait for a little gap with Gasly. We'll find that gap. And then if we can get Vettel out just about now onto a fresh pair of super softs. I don't think... Is Hulkenberg, is he doing a flying lap at the moment? No, he's doing his in lap, and that is why. So Hulkenberg is out in Q1, he's not improving. Giovinazzi is currently out on track, he's currently going a little bit faster, gets himself up to 8th. It's going to be interesting, we're looking for Verstappen and Co and George Russell and everyone else like that, whether they can get out of the drop zone at the moment, out of the elimination zone. Is Verstappen going to go quicker here? We need to keep an eye on our drivers as well. Verstappen is slower over the first sector. Hamilton is improving this lap. Hamilton only gets up into 9th though. Gasly is a little bit quicker over his first sector. It looks like we're both going to get both cars out of Q2. Gasly doesn't really improve. Vettel should see improvement though. 14th comes over the line, but it's Bottas who comes out on top after the first qualifying session. We see Norris eliminated from after Q1. Russell and Verstappen. So Mercedes not able to put it together here. I don't know what was happening with the Mercedes team here. 19th, 18th. Is it because of the engine? We're seeing the Williams out. We've got a McLaren out. We've got an Aston Martin out as well. So I'm guessing it's pretty much down to the engine. Maybe China is an engine heavy reliant track. And that is why we see Mercedes struggle around here. But we see Alfa Romeo all the way up there. Nicholas Latifi in the Williams grabbed 4th, however. Really good for him. So this is the first time we've got both cars into Q2 this season, which is good for us. We're going to get an early run in here because there is grip out on track at the moment. So if we get an early run in, I guess we're definitely going to have to do 2 runs. So if we can get out with no traffic, we'll head the field. We'll go first. See what sort of time we can set. Obviously that 1:34. Oh, we've got rain here. We've got rain. So this lap is going to be nothing. We might as well set it because everyone else is out on super softs. We might as well grab this lap. Possibly going to get on to be first and second quickest through this because everyone else is going to be out in the heavier rain. So it's just a nothing lap this one, and then we're going to wait for the rain to finish. And obviously that has wiped out all the track grip that was there. All the rubber that was on the track is now all gone. So we're back to basics on the track. Everyone else is a long way off. As you can see, they did it on the soft tyre when the crossover point had gone. So we're just waiting for everyone to come back out. Should we get someone out on track first? Obviously we want a little bit of grip on track. There's not going to be any, is there? Because this is going to be the first run for everyone. So we might as well try and get Gasly out. Hopefully he's not going to be in traffic here. No, he gets out before the other cars do. Is no one else running? What? Why are a lot of these cars not coming out again? Do they think they're safe? What is going on here? Why is Hamilton not coming out? Do these cars really think they're safe with that lap? I mean, he did a 142. Everyone's going to be in the 135s probably. So we're going to see a Ferrari out. Leclerc is back out on track though. No, Hamilton's going. What? Why? You're not even going to get round. I mean, that is strange. Hamilton's going to be out in Q2 here because he's not going to get a lap in. Both Red Bulls are out on track at the moment, but we've got these that didn't actually come out onto the track. Look, the Renaults might be in trouble here. We didn't even really need to come back out ourselves because of the other cars not running. But anyway, Gasly gets 6. Looks like Vettel, who hasn't out-qualified his teammate this season, is currently in 4th place. So we do see Hamilton out. We do see Albon out. 9.5. I thought Albon was out on track. Did he come out like Hamilton as well? Latifi goes out. And Ricciardo scrapes through after deciding not to come out. Ricciardo scrapes through into Q3. But Lewis Hamilton eliminated. Ferrari sending him out way too late. But we're in Q3 now. For the first time this season. A lot of firsts for this race. There's rain. Going to be a lot of rain at the end of the session. So I'm getting. We're going to run. We're going to go out with about 9 minutes to go. And set our lap time then. There's not much track grip. Ocon is forced to do this qualifying session on a pair of soft tyres. Aston Martin not bringing enough super softs for the session. Is everyone else just waiting till the end of the session as well? Why is everyone waiting? We're going to get out since everyone else is waiting. I don't really want to go out, but then again I don't want to be as idiotic as a lot of the computer cars are seemingly being, although not everyone is out on track. It does say out lap. I don't know why I thought everyone was in the pits, but yeah, so we're out. Everyone's going to go. So this is a lap that is going to decide pole position because there's going to be no one going quicker at the end of the lap. That Valtteri Bottas still massively quick in the Alfa Romeo. Surprising. Giovinazzi up there in a Prema. Leclerc quicker, slower than the customer team. So everything all over the place here in China. I mean, this is strange. Vettel is 5th. I said Vettel drops to 10th place. It's not. It's Gasly who's in 10th place. So Gasly is currently 10th. So I'm happy with that. A 5th and a 10th is a lot better than what we thought we'd be getting earlier on in the season, obviously. Now it's just rain until the end of the session. No one's going to be going any quicker. I don't think the AI probably will send their cars out again. Yes, we do see them come out on intermediates. I don't know why. You're just wasting a pair of intermediates that you may or not need for the race. We might as well just stick with Ricciardo here. I don't think he's going to go any quicker, although there's not a lot of rain. No, he's quite a bit slower over the first sector. Although Alonso has gone quicker over the first sector. The rain has gone off now, so Alonso could grab pole on a pair of inters here, and he does. Alonso manages to go quicker on a pair of intermediates. I mean, legend. I'm guessing that means all the tyres are going to now be reset. So since he set a quickest time on the inters, I don't think we're going to be forced into using a used pair of super softs from the off, which is going to be good for us because we now can plan to get to when the rain starts in this race. Oh no, we are locked in. Why are we locked in? When Alonso went quickest on a pair of inters. Was he actually on a pair of inters? So we're not even going to be able to get through to when the rain starts. We can do 16 laps. I mean, we've really got to hold on if we want to get through to when the rain starts. Because that rain is going to be pretty heavy. Although it is going to be pretty heavy from around lap 26. So I'm guessing no one's going to really get through to that point. So since there is rain coming, we can go super soft as long as we do get onto a pair of inters. Yeah, it's just what we're going to have to plan for. We're going to have to plan not even planned, is it? We know we can go through 2 pair of super softs, so we can get in as early as we want. We can push on this tyre now instead of try to hold on to it. But anyway, here we go with the grid for the 2022 Beijing Grand Prix. We've got Alonso on pole, Bottas second, amazing in the Alfa Romeo. Leclerc is third. He managed to go a little bit quicker as well. So what is... He's on a used pair of supers. Giovinazzi is fourth in a Prema. Vettel is fifth. Sixth for Daniel Ricciardo in the Renault. Fourth row of the grid sees Carlos Sainz, followed by Robert Schwartzman in the Prema. Absolutely outstanding. Ninth is Ocon in an Aston Martin. And then Gasly rounds out the top 10 for us in an Audi. Sixth row of the grid, we've got Magnussen in a Haas. Perez in a Renault. The 2 Renault powered cars out in Q2. But that is an improvement for Haas. We shouldn't be really seeing them up there. Then we've got Latifi 13th. Hamilton disappointingly 14th, Albon 15th in a Red Bull, Norris 16th, low down for the McLaren, Mick Schumacher 17th in an Alfa Romeo, 18th for Russell, 19th for Verstappen, Mercedes off the pace, Williams 20th with Hulkenberg, 21st for Newgarden, 22nd for Stroll. Then on the back row of the grid we've got Tsunoda and Yuri Vips, both in the Alpha Tauris, not putting it together this season. That Honda engine is really strong, just AlphaTauri just haven't got it together this season. We will stick with Vettel because we can see the front of the order. Alonso gets a really good start here, as does Bottas, but he's under pressure immediately from Leclerc. But Vettel gets inside of Leclerc, the inside of Bottas, gets the run on Alonso, finds himself in first place. What is the temperature like here? It's not very hot, so the tyre wear is not going to be that high either. Gasly has got himself up into 6th place as well. An outstanding start to the race for us. And there we go, past the McLaren and past the Ferrari of Leclerc as well. Absolutely outstanding, if I do say so myself. So up into 1st and 4th over the first half of a lap here. And Vettel goes quickest. Not far behind is Pierre Gasly, who's now on the back of Valtteri Bottas. So I don't know what it is about this race this season. Last season this race was won by Leclerc in the Ferrari, Sainz was second in the McLaren, and third was Hamilton in the Mercedes. Last season we had a qualifying session pretty similar to this season when we finished 4th and 10th. Vettel wasn't racing because he was out injured last season. Van Dorn was 4th, Verline was 10th. But we actually finished the race, Verline 15th and Van Dorn 20th. We didn't have the best of races, as Gasly has managed to get past Bottas now. We're up into 1st and 3rd. I mean, this is absolutely crazy. Vettel's just like sort of holding his own on this super soft tyre. I mean, we don't really have to push out with Vettel at the moment, although we would like to create a bit of a gap to Fernando Alonso if that can be done. But if we keep Alonso under pressure with Gasly, he's not going to get far away from us here if we just speed up a little bit. I don't really want to speed up too much, but I know these videos do get on the long side. 40 minutes is a long time for a video every day for someone to watch, so I'll try and compact it a bit. We'll try and go a little bit quicker. These tyres are overheated now, so we'll cool down. That's possibly going to release Alonso. Alonso's almost 2.5 seconds behind Vettel, who is leading this race for us. I mean, we've got the new engine in the car. Obviously, we know we don't have the best engine still, though, and the car has dropped a place in its overall effectiveness as in relation to the other cars on the grid. But we're winning this race. It's all about whether we can get to that point. The rain is not going to last that long. But it is a point where the inters may need to, well, they would need to be used to keep, with the AI is going to decide that the rain's not lasting that long. But it's possibly about 6 laps where the inters are going to work better than the dry tyre. So it is going to, that would lose you about 30 seconds. We've got pit stop and onto the inters, you're going to gain about 10 seconds overall. So it is going to be worth the inters being used. We've absolutely shredded through this super soft. We've used it pretty quickly, although it looks like everyone else has done that as well. There's not many teams out on a soft tyre though as well, so it looks like everyone's going to get a stopping before they go for the inters. And Vettel's just pulling away here. from Alonso. We're going to get to pushing a little bit with the fuel as well. We're cooling down with Gasly, but he's still in 3rd place, managing to hold off Charles Leclerc. Verstappen is all the way down, he's 16th. Russell is 21st in a Mercedes, currently battling away with Lando Norris as Nico Hulkenberg gets on the back of him. So Mercedes really disappointing here around China. Is going to put them even further behind. Look at that. We're going to be first with a gap of 30 points if we do this, because Mercedes not picking up any points. I mean, is our car just suited to this track? With the way the game works out, which cars are going to get the bonus? Oh, we're under pressure from Charles Leclerc here. We're going to get to pushing a little bit. We're going to try hold him off. I know last season we did have a couple of 1-2s, or we had a 1-2, we had the potential of another 1-2, but Van Dorn sort of ran out of fuel before the end and we lost that 1-2. But if we can stick with a double podium this time around, I know it's going to be a little bit hard because we do have a Ferrari right in our tail. We have Daniel Ricciardo, that should be pretty close to us once the pit stops are over and done with. Sonoda has got himself up into 9th off the back row of the grid. Vips is up into 16th as well. AlphaTauri on for points here at the moment if they can hold it together. I mean, this is just a shocking race. It's, everyone's just sort of all over the place after all those upgrades that went into the car. I mean, a lot of the cars are pretty close because of the way they developed last season. Everyone just sort of pretty much came together. There isn't that big of a gap from the bottom car to the top car. I mean, is a decent-ish gap, but it isn't as big as you would normally expect. A lot of the cars have sort of converged with the way they updated last season. But as Bottas, I think he's dropped down to 6 now, and we're getting away from Leclerc a little bit with Gasly now as we're pushing this tyre. It's almost at the point where we do need to get off it though, isn't it? So I think we're going to get Gasly in this lap. He's possibly going to come out into traffic though. What is it at? It's about 24%. The Ultras, the Ultra Softs go off at 5%, no, 20%. These go off at 15. Yeah, we're going to have to get him in, aren't we? Because we want Vettel in it on the next lap. We don't really want to double stack, although double stacking would be an option because there's about a 10-second gap between the cars. Vettel gets into the pits. A lot of the other cars are starting to pit as well, and we get out into 9th place. Good for us that it's in front of Norris. There's a little bit of a gap to the Renault in front. Luckily it's a Renault in front of us. Meanwhile we need to queue up the pit stop for Sebastian Vettel. There's a while to the rain as well. So we're going to get into this pit. So we've got a static camera around turn 1 here. We might as well just stay here for a second and watch the cars come round. And there we go. We get back to Sebastian Vettel, who is about to make his pit stop. Leclerc should be coming in as well, so we should feed back out, not into traffic here, luckily. And we might think about pushing a little bit more as Alonso has pitted. Where did Alonso come out? It's 22.8. Is Alonso really going for it on this first lap? Are we going to lose some of that gap to Alonso as Leclerc pulls into the pits? I think Alonso is stuck at the moment though behind Alexander Albon, which has worked out for us. We can keep pushing here because we think we're coming in for an intermediate at the moment. It just depends what that rain sort of looks like at that point. And meanwhile we're going to get Gasly pushing to get him past the Renault, who hasn't stopped yet. No, Perez is still out on track. There is the potential that these cars like Albon, Magnussen, Vips, they're going to get through until the rain comes. That is an option or a possibility for those cars. They might be able to get through until the rain actually does come. Obviously they might go onto the inters before the track is at that point. Gasly locks up on this super soft. We've got him pushing because we're trying to get him past Yuri Vips at the moment. Should we give him overtake mode as well? See if we can get him past Yuri Vips. It's about 7 seconds back, 8 seconds back to Alonso. Albon is close to Vettel. If he doesn't pit, Vettel sets the quickest lap of the race. We want to sort of cool down a little bit on that tyre as well. We need to just cool it off a little bit with Gasly. Now we've got him past Vips, which is what we wanted from him. He's got a massive lead over who is in effectively second place is Alonso. Albon does have to pit, but it's whether Red Bull are going to try and get him through until the rain comes. I'm guessing we'll stick with Albon for a few laps here since he's under pressure from his teammate. Red Bull not using orders, but Albon is queued up for a pit stop now. Is he going to go on to an intermediate tyre? The AI does sometimes queue that up if they're in the pits a lap or two before the rain comes, which will cost him for 2 laps yet. Albon's gone on to the inters early here. So he is a pit stop down. He won't be doing as many pit stops as the others, but he's going to be maybe 5 or 6 seconds off the pace. Maybe even a little bit more than that over these next couple of laps. As we see, he's just going to drop back. He's 33 at the moment. Gasly is currently running 4th. Magnussen himself is going a long way. He's queued up for a pit stop. We know he's going to go on to the inters. So Gasly is still effectively running 3rd. And we've cooled down a little bit now. We can get back to pushing. We know we want to get onto the intermediates is what we want out of this race. And there we go. The rain actually does start now. Albon is now 43 seconds behind. He's lost about 10 seconds on those intermediate tyres. 44, 45.7, 45.9. So who is the highest car? Magnussen, 44 seconds. We're going to sort of get a... With them being on the inters, we're going to get a good idea of when the crossover point is going to come for these tyres, of when we do need to think about getting off them. But Vettel, at the moment, he's almost a pit stop in front of Pierre Gasly at the moment. Obviously, Alonso is a little bit close, but he's still 12 seconds behind. I mean, we're just pulling away here. And I don't really have a clue why, but I'll take it. I mean, we're doing 138, we're just quick around this track, as we've seen most of the other cars come in for their pit stops. But I mean, is Magnussen still falling behind here? Yes, he is. I mean, we're still on the crossover point. No, he's catching up a little bit. No, we're going to get in. We're going to get in. Yeah, because the rain does get heavier on the next lap, so we'll get in on this lap. There we go, pit, and we're going to pit Gasly as well. He's going to get in for his intermediate tyre. We might as well get both cars pushing here. We were trying to cool down. Gasly's got a little bit more fuel as well, so he's going to push. No mistakes on the pit stop of 1.98, and it is a 1.863 for Gasly. Nice quick pit stops there. We're in and out, still in 1st and 3rd place. Gasly didn't really lose any time throughout that pit stop. So whilst we just watch this rain now, we can push on this tyre. We've got Vettel just cooling off still, haven't we? Should we just go push mode so these tyres don't... No, we'll go attack mode with Vettel a little bit quicker. There, we're actually pulling away from Alonso again. But whilst the rain comes and gets heavier, we'll just have a quick look down the running order at the moment. Alonso is 2nd behind Vettel. Then we've got Gasly. Ricciardo's up there in a Renault. The McLaren of Saints, Ferrari, Leclerc, Giovinazzi up in the points in Prema, Ocon in the Aston Martin, Magnussen looking to score points for Haas this season, their first points of the season. I would guess they are. Haas, yes, would pick up 2 points if they manage to keep 9th place. Albon, though, is behind him in a Red Bull, and then Hamilton in a Ferrari is 11th. Then we've got Schwartzman, Tsunoda in the AlphaTauri, Perez out of the running in a Renault at the moment. The Mercedes 16th, Russell all the way down in 20th. Mercedes not putting it together this weekend at all, whereas we're just having an absolutely outstanding weekend. I mean, we don't even really need to push with Vettel, he's just so far ahead. And Gasly is just in a world of his own at the moment that we can just sort of speed up. Just wait for this rain to start stopping, wait for our strategy to change. Who is behind us? It is Daniel Ricciardo. Is he any quicker than us? He's pretty much on a par with us, so we're just going to hold off a little bit. Don't want to risk any sort of crash during this race. We don't want a safety car. We don't want anyone else to crash and allow the field to bunch up. That would be disastrous for us if everyone bunched up at this point, because we've just done an amazing job at getting out in front. But it is a change after the dreadful qualifying sessions that we had. We've had some pretty decent races, but this time we had a good qualifying session. We're having an absolutely outstanding race. The rain has now stopped as we take on board some water. The weather outside is pretty hot. It's pretty hot up here by the computer, but the rain is stopping anytime soon. There is 24 laps to go. We do want to get to a point where we can use these soft tyres pretty comfortably, is the aim here. We might as well get attacking because we don't have long to go on these tyres as well. we want to go as long as we can on these inters before getting in, so we can get on a soft that'll last us to the end of the race. We could get it to the end of the race from now, but I would like a little bit of leeway in the tyre. Gasly is running hot at the moment, doing a 1:39.1. I mean, Vettel is just sort of quick around this track, around China. He didn't get to race here last year because he was injured, but he's making up for that now. 21 laps to go. We can sort of think about coming in for the softs at any point. Maybe we'll go with Gasly first and just use him as an outlayer on what the lap times are going to be like on a soft tyre. Yeah, don't complain just yet, Seb. Might even think about a super softs, but there's no point pushing it, is there? We've got a lot of fuel to use with Gasly as well, so we'll just get him into the pits. Vettel is going around. Vettel sets the quickest lap of the race as the track dries out. I mean, we're on the crossover point to get onto a pair of super softs. We'll line up a pair of softs at the moment because we've got nothing to risk with Vettel. There's no point risking anything as Alonso comes into the pits. Gasly is in the pits as well. Back onto some dry tyres, a 1.949 for Gasly. Nice quick pit stop. Is everyone pitting this lap? There's only Vettel out on track at the moment. Alonso has pitted. He's still dropping time at the moment though to Vettel. They're about even. And is that an even quicker pit stop? A 1.793, absolutely outstanding from the pit crew there. And we'll just dial down now. We're just in it to the end of the race now. There's a massive gap between Gasly and Alonso of about 6 seconds. A massive gap back to Ricciardo of 7. Should we go for it? I mean, these can do 23. Let's just see what sort of lap time we can get over these next couple of laps and see if we can close up to Alonso. We're 6.4 seconds behind. We're just going to go for it. Alonso's going for it as well though, so it feels like it might be hitting the engine. The engine is a little bit off it at the moment, isn't it? It's down below halfway. I mean, we are pushing all out here. The tyres are a little bit overheated. We're nowhere near quick enough to keep pushing like that because we would have to dial back at some point. Ricciardo is going pretty quick though, although he's gaining, although his last lap wasn't as close to ours, about 4 tenths down. Looks like the Renault are going for it here, but we'll just follow Vettel for a little bit. He's in the lead of this race comfortably. We'll just keep things going pretty quickly here. Is there anyone else battling away? Has Hamilton managed to get into the top 10? No, he hasn't. Albon's managed to pass Magnussen over the round of pit stops, but the Haas currently still running the points. We've got a Prema running high up in 7th place in the points as well. Sainz is up there. Leclerc 5th for Ferrari. Disappointing for them with Hamilton outside the points as well. Mercedes, both cars still outside the points and nowhere near. It's about 11 seconds back to 10th place. I mean, Mercedes, just a disastrous race for them as we've got 12 laps to go now. Vettel just about there with the fuel. We'll just keep him running like this. How much quicker than he? No. Alonso's going a little bit quicker, but he's 12 seconds behind. And we've cooled down with Gasly, so we'll just get him turned back up a little bit now. We'll recover and we'll push for a little bit with Vettel. I mean, we've lost so much time to Alonso whilst cooling those tyres all the way down. But Red Bull's still massively quick, but Vettel just getting everything out of this Audi during this race. I mean, I think we've reached the high point of the season already. I don't think we're going to improve on this. I think it might be a one and done maybe as Gasly goes quicker. I don't know why we're so quick around China, but we are. I mean, I'm guessing it's just because everyone else is just, I don't know. I mean, Red Bull are decently quick. Mercedes are just totally off it. Ferrari seemingly off it as well. Renault's pretty much there, but 30 seconds behind Vettel is Ricciardo. Perez nearly 80 seconds behind, who is currently on a medium tyre. I mean, it's shocking. I mean, we're catching up, but to an Aston Martin here of Lance Stroll, we're going to be lapping people. I mean, I think that's the first time we'll have ever done that in this series of overlapping people, but we'll just dial back a little bit with Vettel now. It's just about getting through to the end of the race. We've got 6 laps remaining. Unless we have some sort of catastrophic breakdown or Vettel or Gasly crashes. It should be a double podium for us today. I mean, Vettel is now pit stop ahead of... Oh, he's hearing strange noises from the engine. We were just on about a catastrophic failure of the car. But Vettel is now lapping Lance Stroll, it looks like. Having a little bit of trouble getting past him. That loses some time then to... Yeah, we lost about a second over the first sector. From our quickest lap time trying to get past Lance Stroll. But we're now past him, that should be it. And Alonso's coming to the pits. Alonso into the pits, what for? What are you in for the pits for? Ricciardo's pitting as well. I mean, they've just absolutely shredded those tyres. Let's just cool down here, make sure we can get through to the end. I know we can... We can't really push too hard with the engine though, can we? Because that engine is going off Gasly's. I mean, this is it. This is the final lap coming up now. Gasly is about to enter the final lap. Vettel enters the final lap. He's going to lap... Who is that? 23rd. That is Nico Hulkenberg. Gasly doesn't have the trouble of trying to lap people. Alonso is behind him. 4 seconds behind. It's going to be a massive feat to pick up 4 seconds over a lap. Unless our engine goes, it is 25%. It's not in the red zone, so it's not in any danger of going. We might as well go overtake mode because Alonso is absolutely flying on this lap. He's picked up 1.5 seconds, like through the first lap, through the first half of the lap. I mean, Alonso's absolutely flying. Vettel comes across the line. Gasly, though, is going to grab a second place here. A second podium in a row for Gasly. A first win of the season for Sebastian Vettel. Absolutely outstanding. Alonso did a 1:37.5. Wasn't that quick at the end of the lap anymore, although the 1:40.3 from Vettel. I mean, Gasly was a little bit quicker because he was pushing the fuel, but Vettel, I don't think he ran out of fuel before the end. Maybe he did. I don't think he did. But anyway, Gasly, it's a 1-2 for Vettel, and Gasly a 1-2 for us. Absolutely outstanding. Obviously, that 1-2 is down to the ineptitude of Red Bull. Not getting their car through to the end of the race, having to do a pit stop right here to do 2 laps on a super soft. We saw a lot of cars doing that. Not hanging on to those tyres after they came in and got off the intermediates. Everyone pretty much came in on the same lap. For the intermediates other than Vettel, he went a lap longer. Didn't affect him. Shouldn't be any problems with any of the cars. No, we get a 1-2. Absolutely amazing. And the Drivers' Championship is currently Vettel and Gasly leading the way. It's not going to remain like that, I don't think. I don't think there's going to be many weekends where the AI is as bad as they were this weekend, but we're currently leading by 32 points. We'll take it whilst we can. We'll celebrate now. This is our probably the high point of the season. I mean, we're going to be improving the car, so if we had the same car, how far ahead would we have been in that race? That is a question to ponder, but not one that we'll really ever get an answer for. We came first overall for the weekend. Gasly is improving a little bit. We've still got a lot of money coming out of the bank account per race. Vettel, Gasly win the weekend. We won't look at that because it doesn't make any sense. We've got a new pit crew, new guys in the pit crew. There's some guys here that are looking pretty decent. Might think about getting them, but we'll take an interview from Ed Straw. We finished well down the pecking order in practice, only managing to finish in 17th. Struggle? Did you struggle? No, it's just the rain. Just go that one because it's not going to really cost us up just because of the rain running at different times. But anyway, yeah, that was absolutely outstanding. We've got an engine being built at the moment. It's going to take 21 days. It should be ready for when we get to Portugal because there is a big gap between... there's a 3-week gap between Russia and Portugal. So there's going to be a lot of updates done for that race. I don't think there's going to be many updates done for Russia because it's such a short gap of just 10 days from now till then. Although a lot of the cars will have been finished that engine when we did, and if they've gone for a rear wing or a front wing, there could still be a lot of updates going into the car, so we should see ourselves drop back because we're concentrating on the engine in the early part of the season. But anyway, that is it. Absolutely outstanding race. But until next time, I'll see you down the road in Russia for the Black Sea Grand Prix. But until that time, goodbye.